Danny's D World, Abel, XAM, Michael Matt Killer, and the rest of the Dragon Ball protest team, and the Amazing Spider-Man and Sony Spider-Man support people. It's time for another new type of video intro, since I'm sick of recording videos at night so the video parts match. This is a new intro for an updated daytime intro, and this is the intro to various series of video responses to you guys. My first series of video responses were only going to be another rant on the Amazing Spider-Man's 1 and 2 made especially for you guys, and of course Dragon Ball Evolution Naruto defense video, and of course another Dragon Ball Z rant video aimed at each of you. I decided to add a rant on Broly haters. I'm a huge Broly fanboy, and I'm sick of haters hating on Broly for dumb reasons and asking dumb questions on why he's quote unquote popular so bad. One for Dragon Ball GT, another for Goku versus Superman, and various other franchises I can't think of at the moment that you either like that I hate, or that you bash, or franchises I like that you bashed. So yeah, and also another video that I've been meaning to do for a long time but never got around to completing and finishing, and that is a brand new Wrestling Jesus style, several reasons each of you individually, suck your burial videos to finally bury it in this feud once and for all. So with that being said, let's get started. Gonna show you SOBs what I'm made of. Alright, XAM, Danny's D World, Abel, Michael Matt Killer, and the rest of the Dragon Ball protests and Dragon Ball supporters everywhere. This especially goes out to Dragon Ball supporters, you XAM, and you Danny's D World. Several reasons. Akira Toriyama sucks. Large narration version. Number one, how this started. Whenever you beat a Dragon Ball Z fan, they always respond with two arguments. The first is the popularity of money, which is the pure definition of sheep, idiot, and easily entertained moron, and they expect you to be as dumb and easily entertained as they are when it comes to these franchises, and do not demand better, do not demand quality from Toriyama, who Toriyama is the worst writer alive, but he's widely considered the best and a genius. So we treat him like We treat him like a genius, and we treat him like a person who is supposed to be worthy of the title of best, even though he's the worst, as I'm about to get into. So that's number one. And then number two, the even worse one. You see how awesome modern franchises like Naruto, Bleach, Yu Yu Hakusho, One Punch Man, My Heroes Academia, and so many more, and so many more. You see how these shows, a lot of these people, especially Masashi Kishimoto, Tai Kubo of Naruto and Bleach fame, they were inspired by Akira. They were partially inspired by Akira Toriyama. So since those shows got to be awesome, people like the people as one last line of defense for Dragon Ball Z. They like to say, oh well, since those shows were good, that also means Dragon Ball Z was good because Dragon Ball Z inspired him. Nah, it doesn't work that way. Anyone can be inspired by anything, and anything good can be inspired by anything terrible. The thing, it's called effort. It's called actually trying. Something Toriyama refuses to do and never will do. And there has never had to do with Dragon Ball, as I'm going to explain later. Then XAM, then number two, you try to bring up the fact that since Kishimoto and Tai Kubo like and respect Akira Toriyama, that means people like me should also like and respect Akira Toriyama. Now, it doesn't work that way. Respect is earned. And I do not respect arrogance. I do not respect laziness. I do not respect arrogance, laziness, and unoriginality, and what I see is blatant merchandising and commercialism, and once again a lack of effort, and many other terrible things Toriyama did when he wrote Dragon Ball. That pecking order doesn't exist here. In Japan and Asia, it's common courtesy to be respectful for the people who came before you. So yes, Kishimoto and Tai Kubo and many more may respect him, but I, for one, do not. Respect is earned. Number three. Then number three, you try to, well, if Dragon Ball Z wasn't good, shows like Naruto and Bleach wouldn't be here. Firstly, that's one of the only good things about Dragon Ball Z, is that they inspire better, is that they help inspire better franchise. But if it wasn't for Kaniku Man, Muscle Man, Fist of the North Star, Asuma Tezuka's Astro Boy, Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee, the Bruce Lee based movies, and our Western style comic books, Marvel and DC, Toriyama wouldn't be here. Dragon Ball Z wasn't original. Then you're gonna come here with the whole Dragon Ball Z, Star Wars wasn't original either, but that was that's considered a classic. Here's the difference between Dragon Ball Z and Star Wars, because Dragon Ball Z and Star Wars are actually the same now. Here's the difference between Dragon Ball Z and Star Wars. At least Star Wars, during its day, during the original, and even during the prequel trilogy, was okay, was good, was decent. It's just now, Hollywood, the bar for what you can do in a movie has been set higher. That Star Wars is just lame in comparison nowadays, but at least the original and even the prequel trilogy was still good and entertaining. They didn't become terrible till we got to the crappy sequel trilogy, episode 7 through 9. Dragon Ball has been garbage throughout its run, and it got worse and worse with each saga, starting with the Android and Cell sagas, and and they continue to get worser and worser and worse with each saga. But if you really get it serious, it was never good. Crappy Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee, Journey to the West, martial arts as comedy adventure for part one. That garbage wasn't selling. When it came to America, no one cared about that garbage. So they had to remake. They had to reckon and remake it and make it more edgier, action oriented, intergalactic and cosmic level. Which in some ways every franchise was doing that, and Toriyama was the last one to the dance, and they made them intergalactic and cosmic level when there was no one cosmic level in Dragon Ball. So not only unoriginal, inconsistent what was going on, but Dragon Ball Z and Star Wars XAM have one thing in common now: both franchises now suck, and both franchises only exist because of nostalgia and what they used to be. Neither franchises offers nothing of substance or value to a modern artist, and are both purely about merchandising. It only exists for merchandising and nostalgia. So once again, quit using Star Wars. Quit making excuses. Your franchise sucks. It is only good for nostalgia. And if you think otherwise, you're a dumbass, you're an idiot, and you're an easily entertained moron. Myself and everyone else who hates Dragon Ball Z or thinks other things that are better than it are not easily entertained morons like you are. Like you and the rest are. So, yeah. Then, next, all the stuff they ripped off. All the stuff Dragon Ball ripped off, Kishimoto and them also borrowed and ripped off, and all the stuff Toriyama ripped off, he ripped off and got it wrong. What did I say in plenty of videos? Everything that was ever cool, Toriyama ruined. Everything that was ever cool, Toriyama ruined, disgraced, and made his version of it was totally lame and totally gay. Everything that was cool was terrible and gay in his franchise. The only thing he hasn't ruined that is still awesome is Fusion, that he created. Other things like Brawly, Super Saiyan 4, Baby, the Shadow Dragons, yeah, not Toriyama, not those weren't Tori, but he ruined and disgraced everything. And Kishimoto, Tai Kubo, and the modern artists, they took all of those things. They took all of those same materials, and they did them right. So yeah. And seeing them get it right, no one, including me, is accepting Toriyama constantly and continuously get it wrong. Next. What was next? What was next? Oh yes, you want to go back to different eras. You want to go back to his time period. In his time period, his time period was the Fist of the North Star, Saint Seiya, Ronin Warriors, Shirato, Sailor Moon, Yu Yu Hakusho, Dragon Quest, Vampire Hunter D era, and many more. That was his time period. He sucked in that time period. Now you want to come to the modern time periods of Naruto, Bleach, and now My Hero's Academia and One Punch Man. He is even worse, and he gets worse and worse with each decade. Each decade someone comes out with something new and better, which makes his show look lame, bland, and dated in comparison. Dragon Ball Z is one of the worst. Dragon Ball Z is one of the worst cartoons of all time. And it is one of the worst mangas of all time. It is the worst comic book of all time and the worst anime of all time. So Toriyama sucks. Next is Toriyama sucks and is the worst writer ever. That guy never tries. Gonna bring some racism into this. He is every negative stereotype associated with Afro Americans only in his race. That guy refuses to try when writing a Dragon Ball series. Then when he does do something good, he'll always find a way to screw it up. There's always some plot hole or some character who will screw it up. Dragon Ball was destined to be a classic. He did the Dr. Slump. The only thing respectable about him, he's a good martial arts. He's a good comedy. He's a good gag comedy adventure writer. He cannot do martial arts, science fiction, action adventure, and fantasy to save his motherfucking life. He did Dr. Slump. So Dragon Ball was destined to be a classic. Regardless, he didn't have to try or work at it like Kishimoto, Tai Kubo, and the rest. Yoshihiro Tagashi gave you Yu Yu Hakusho and Hunter x Hunter, and he had brain cancer when he was doing Yu Yu Hakusho. So no excuse. Toriyama sucks and is lazy and it's just the dumbest, pussiest guy. Not only in manga, in all of Asia. How about the entire world? The only people worse than Toriyama, XAM, are Jason Freeberg, Aaron Sutzer. The people who made Disaster Movie, Meet the Spartans, those type of movie, the parody movies, are only people who are worse than Toriyama. Because at least Toriyama's stuff, it is meant to be a gag comedy, whereas their stuff is supposed to be funny, but it's not really funny. So, yeah. So, and now people are starting to see this. You see, I wanted Toriyama. See, I wanted and still wanted Toriyama dead. But you know what? I take that back. I want him to live. I want him to live a lot longer, because if he dies, he'll be modern and people will be seeing how great he was. And I don't want that. People are now starting to see it. Whenever Dragon Ball Z comes out with something, Dragon Ball busts out with a new product, Toriyama gets exposed more and more, and he's the only one who doesn't get exposed, and he's the one who's writing all this. Everyone likes to blame Toei, the animators and other writers, but they're writing and they're animating based upon his horrible script and ideas, which means to the next one. Every terrible idea in Dragon Ball is Toriyama. Every good idea was someone else or an editor telling him to create it. I already mentioned how the Super Saiyan 4s, the Baby, the Shadow Dragons, and most of what was in Broly and what was in GT in the animated movies was not him. He was just hired to do the artwork for those characters. However, what was him? Android Saga. Toriyama was gonna have a fat man, Android 19, a fat clownish man in Android 19, an old man, a geezer in Android 20, Dr. Gero, a fat clownish man and a geezer. This was gonna be the threat that kills off the Z fighters for good. This was going to be a threat that kills each of the Z fighters off for good. His editor told him, You serious? Change it. How is that a threat to the Z fighters? So then he added Android 16, 17, and 18. That's better, but that's still, how is that a threat to, how are those humans, cyborgs, humans equipped with cybernetics? How are they a threat to the Z fighters? And finally, he created Cell. He created Cell, the savior of that saga, and a being who's believable enough to actually take on and beat each Z fighter. So yeah, he's credited as creator of Cell, but he was instructed by someone to create Cell. So we can go all day. But I'm gonna end it right here. XAM, Danny's D World, Abel, Michael Matt Killer, Dragon Ball Protest, Dragon Ball supporters and defenders everywhere, and especially you, XAM, Michael Matt Killer. Dragon Ball Z sucks because Akira Toriyama sucks. There is no getting away around it. Your show is not good for anything other than nostalgia, and several other things. And those several other things, the action, the large cast of characters, and the dubs, Ocean and Japanese dub, those are not enough to save it. I do not do nostalgia. Your show sucks. Quit trying to defend your show. Toriyama sucks. Any form of Dragon Ball made by him, anything made by him, especially Dragon Ball, sucks. So yeah. Now, with that being said, I'm finished for now. Let me hit my music and get out of here.
Like a million faces, I recognize them all. And one by one they all become a number as they fall. In the face of reason, I can't take no more. One by one they all become like marks on the floor. Is it me you say you're looking for? Let me show